Mystery of Mystery, a primer of Thelemic ecclesiastical Gnosticism. Chapter 9, the Formula of Tetragrammaton in the Gnostic Mass. Tetragrammaton is a Greek word meaning word of 4 letters and refers to the Hebraic name of God, Yod-He, Vav-Ha. Which is commonly known in the West as Jehovah. This name has always been held in supreme regard by Kabbalists as a name of great power and symbolic meaning. The letters of this name have been attributed to the 4 elements, the 4 suits of the tarot, the 4 words of Kabbalism, the 4 worlds of Kabbalism, and all other conceivable quaternaries. On the Tree of Life, they are typically attributed to the Sephiroth of Chokmah, Bineh, Tifereth, and Malkuth. Aleister Crowley describes the magical formula of creation represented by this word in Magic in Theory and Practice, Chapter 3, and in the Book of Thoth, Part 1, Section 2, and Part 2, Section 0. The reader is referred to these writings for a fuller explanation of some of the basic concepts used in this essay. Hadith, Kether, is each of the infinite number of infinitesimal points which make up the universe. Nuit, Ein Sof, is the continuous space occupied by the discontinuous Hadith, the whole of which is divided for love's sake by separation of the single point, Hadith. The Hebrew letter Yod is by shape a point. The name of the corresponding letter in Greek is iota, which means a jot or bit. Yod is attributed to the Sephirah, Chokmah, but the uppermost tip of the letter is attributed to that of Kether. The Hebrew letter He, which means window, referring to an open space. He is attributed among the supernals to the Sephirah Bineh. The polarity between Yod and He, Chokmah and Bineh, can therefore be seen as that of Hadith and Nuit, as reflected down into the father Chaos and the mother Babylon. The Hebrew letter Vav, attributed to the Sephirah Tifereth, means nail, referring to a fastener or that which joins 2 things together. Vav, therefore, reflects the union of the father and the mother at point of intersection. By shape, it is an extended Yod, the father extended downward. The final letter, He, attributed to the Sephirah Malkuth, represents the manifested result of this union. Yod is the king, wedded to He, the queen. Their union brings forth Vav, the prince, the heir, and He, final, the virgin princess. The mission of the prince is to make the princess his bride, to set her upon the throne of the mother, and as the princess becomes the queen, the prince is enabled to claim his birthright and thus become the king. We read in the 4th Aether of the vision and the voice, and this is that which is written: Malkuth shall be uplifted and set upon the throne of Bineh, and this is the stone of the philosophers, that is set as a seal upon the tombs of Tetragrammaton. And the elixir of life that is distilled from the blood of the saints, and the red powder that is the grinding up of the bones of Coronzo. Here are a few attributions of the letters of Tetragrammaton: Yod, fire; Chokmah, Chia; Atziluth, will; Magus, lance; and Fortas. He, water; Bene, Neshama; Braya, memory; Magister, cup; widow, Varal. Vav, air; Tifereth, Ruach; Yetzirah, cognition; adept, sword; Parsival. He, final; earth; Malkuth, Nefesh; Asiya, thoughts; neophyte; paten; kundry. In the Mass, the formula of Tetragrammaton is constantly repeated on many levels. A few examples follow. The Gnostic and Catholic Church is of life, Yod; love, He; light, Vav; and liberty, He final. The officers of the Church are the priest, Yod; the priestess, He; the deacon, Vav; and the children, He final. The first 4 points of the creed refer to chaos, Yod; Babylon, He; Baphomet, Vav; and the Gnostic Catholic Church, He final. In the ceremony of the introit, Yod, the stele, chaos, Chokmah, unites with He, the Holy Grail; Babylon, Bene, upon the altar, bringing forth Vav; Baphomet, Iwas; Tifereth, the mind; Nel, Nil. The deacon with the book of the law, and He final, the congregation, the church, Malkuth, thoughts. The deacon adds Vav, the book, the logos, to the Yod and He on the contains. The deacon adds Vav, the book, the logos, to the Yod and He on the altar. After the deacon and the congregation recite the creed, which contains an acknowledgement of the forces of Tetragrammaton, another aspect of He final appears, the Virgin. She completes the formula on the serpentine course around the temple, unites the forces of Yod and He of the altar of incense, and the font to bring forth another aspect of Vav, the priest. In the ceremony of the opening of the veil, the priest, Vav, exalts the priestess, He final, and enthrones her upon the altar, where she takes the place of the Varal, He. The priest, as Vav Parsifal, descends and wanders in the wilderness. Then rising 1 step, invokes Nuit, He. The priestess speaks as Nuit, drawing forth the hidden flame of the priest, enabling him to rise another step and speak as Hadit, Yod. The deacon and children arise in recognition, and the deacon recites the calendar from chapter 2 of Liber A. The priest rises the third and final step and invokes Horus, Vav. The priestess responds in kind with, "There is no law beyond do what thou wilt," from chapter 3 of Liber Av. And the deacon, Vav, recites the collects to the church. He final. Upon mounting the third step, the priest says, "Make open the path of creation and of intelligence between us and our minds. Enlighten our understanding, encourage our hearts, let thy light crystallize itself in our blood, fulfilling us of resurrection." Within this single phrase, we find the formula in this manner. Make open the path of creation and of intelligence between us and our minds. Yod. Enlighten our understanding. He. Encourage our hearts. Vav. Let thy light crystallize. He final. Itself in our blood. Shin. Fulfilling us of resurrection. Yod He Shin Vav He. In the consecration of the elements, the priest Yod and priestess He have brought forth a new Vav and He final, the elements. These elements are now exalted to Yod and He by identification with the persons of the priest and priestess. The host is identified with the priest, Yod, and the cup of wine is identified with the priestess, He. The host is round, typifying the sun, and is made of grain, typifying the corn of Ceres, which symbolized both the sun and the sun. In the consecration of the host, the priest says, "Life, Yod, of man, Vav, upon earth, He final, fruit of labor, sustenance of endeavor, thus be thou nourishment of the Spirit." The priest then identifies the host with himself, Yod, with the words, "Totu esti tu somamu." This is my body. In the consecration of the wine, the priest says, "Vehicle of the joy of He." Vehicle of the joy, He, of man, Vav, upon earth, He final. Solace of labor, inspiration of endeavor, thus be thou ecstasy of the Spirit. The priest then identifies the cup with the priestess, He, with the words, "Totu esti tu poteron tau haimatus mo." This is the cup of my blood. This identification is sealed when the priest, Yod, uses the host, Vav, to make the 5 crosses upon the cup, as was earlier done upon the priestess. The 2 elements are then elevated. In the anthem, the priest and all invoke the world essence, Kether, the source and seed of all. In the mystic marriage and consummation of the elements, the host, symbolic of the priest, and of Yod as Fortas, is sacrificed. It is broken into, and the particula is removed. The particula is identified as the seed or essence of the priest, the topmost point of the Yod of Chokmah, in essence, Kether. The particula is then placed on the point of the lance, Yod. The seed of Kether is transmitted by the lance of Chokmah, Yod, into the cup of Bene, He. The result is the lion serpent, bafflement, Vav, the priest turns to the people, He, final, and lowers the lance, drawing down and projecting the invoked Vav force among them. He makes the sign of the cross upon them and proclaims the law, consecrating them to the great work. They respond with love is the law, love under will, the formula of communication, which prepares them to partake of communion. The priest then consumes the two halves of the fractured host, saying, in my mouth be the essence of the life, Yod, of the Son, Vav. He consumes the wine, which contains the dissolved particula, saying, in my mouth be the essence of the joy, He, of the earth, He, final. The priest thus integrates the entire formula within himself. There is no part of me that is not of the gods. The people, having been duly prepared, communicate. They each consume the Yod and He, and unite them within their bodies. The Vav of their union is then invoked upon them in the benediction by the priest, the accomplishment of their own individual true wills. With the consummation of the elements, the officers as such have accomplished their true wills. There is nothing left for them to do. Therefore, the priestess withdraws herself beyond the veil, and the priest, accompanied by the deacon and the children, return to the tomb from whence they came, and return to the tomb from whence he came. The people remain in the temple. It is now their task to employ the formula of Tetragrammaton toward the accomplishment of their own true wills.